Happy New Year, everyone. I thought I'd put together this little video since it's that time of year where we're sort of looking into what we want to create for this next year. So this little video is just going to take you through one of the sections of planning that I've done at the start of the year. I love this quote by Bob Proctor. Your purpose explains what you are doing with your life. Your vision explains how you are living your purpose. Your goals enable you to realize your vision. So each of these three elements is very important when we're planning our year. It really helps us to consciously create our lives. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time today to go into all three of these areas. Each area within themselves has quite a lot of content in it. So today we're just going to focus on the aspect of the vision. If you would like more information in regards to diving deeper around your purpose and then connecting that with your vision, and then also connecting your vision through to your goals, I will be running this conscious creation workshop in February of this year. And you can register your interest by either emailing me at debbieamos@pepandverve.com, or else simply just send me a personal message via Facebook with your email address, and I will make sure that I send you information about that workshop. Equally, if you wanted to dive deep with any of this sort of stuff around purpose, around vision, around actions, around goal setting, if you wanted to dive deep with any of that right now, you can also just email me and we can set up a free discovery call to have a bit of a chat about coaching options that might work well for you. So for now, we're going to dive into having a bit of a look at this. So this is the Wheel of Life. And when we're looking at the Wheel of Life, what we've got here is different categories of focus within our lives and the sorts of roles that we would play within each of these categories. So you've got some examples here, for example, like within personal growth, maybe the role that I take on is as a student. Within my community, perhaps I take on a volunteer role in some form or another. Within my family and friends, I have the role of daughter, I might have the role of wife, you might have the role of friend, various different roles that you might have. So we start by identifying perhaps what some of the main areas and roles currently are within your life, and having a bit of a look at what is your level of satisfaction currently in each of those areas. So you can see this marked on the diagram by the grey triangles. So really what we're doing is within each segment, so if we take, for example, family friends on this diagram, the orange segment, we can see there that the level of satisfaction within that area of life is perhaps quite low. And there may be quite a room for growth and improvement within that area. So these are just some possible different categories that you could use within the Wheel of Life. Just to give you a bit of an idea, start helping you to brainstorm what some of those areas might actually be for you. And then within those areas, as I say, you can consider what role you would actually play within those areas. So then once you've got sort of clear what those areas and roles would be for you, and you've got the level of satisfaction that you're currently at within your life, you can start really letting yourself dream and vision about what 100% would look like in each of those areas. What would it be like to feel 100% satisfied and fulfilled as a student, as an artist, as a park volunteer, as a hiker, as a coach, as a daughter, as a friend? What would it look like? And as we're doing this, we can really take the time to close our eyes and go inward and use all of our senses. Ask ourselves what you'd be seeing, what you'd be feeling, what you'd be hearing, and what kinds of things you'd be telling yourself. And really flesh out that vision so it becomes very alive for you and you're very connected to it, not only in the mind but also emotionally and in an embodied sense. And then we can start to ask, what would close that gap? So the gap between where we currently feel we are and where we would like to be. Within 2019, what kinds of levels of focus, of actions could we do in 2019 that would begin to close that gap? And this may mean that there's a particular area of your life that hasn't made it onto this wheel of life that you have, through these practices, recognized you actually want to start bringing into your life a new role, a new area for focus. Or it may be that you notice that there's one or two particular areas where when you completed your level of satisfaction, it was quite low compared to some of the others. And so maybe that's the area that you'd like to focus on. Alternatively, it may be that you can see you really want to create some movement within all areas and that the focus is more on little bits of incremental movement across the board in your life. So you can take a moment and just get a sense of what that might look like for you. Then we go into actually creating that into our vision board. So this is a template that I developed. And essentially what we're doing here is we're taking the areas from the Wheel of Life and we're creating sections of the vision board for each of those areas. It may be that you've got 6 areas like I do here and that you've actually taken, all of the different areas or roles of your life across. Or as I say, it may be that you've identified that there's 1 or 2 areas that you're really wanting to focus on for 2019. So this vision board template may only have 2 sections to it, depending on what you decide. So we have sections for each of the different areas that we're going to create some action in for 2019. And we can start finding images, finding symbols, finding words that really help us connect to what we want to create in those different areas. Now you'll see on this template that I've also got a section in the middle, which I've called Growth and Contribution. This, as I mentioned before, it's really great to have your vision actually connected in with a greater sense of purpose within your life. So in the Conscious Creation workshop, we'll go more into the element of purpose and identifying some of the essences of that purpose that you might then really want to focus on connecting with in 2019. So in this example, I've got growth and contribution being that sense of purpose of what you're wanting to create. So in this way, then as you're filling in all of the different images within the vision board template, you can have some crossover between each section, asking yourself how within, for example, health, how within that category of health would I more deeply live my purpose? And then how within the category of spirituality would I more deeply live my purpose, etc., etc. So in that way we can not only look at the different categories or the different roles, we can also connect each of those in with how they come back to our central purpose. Then we have the fun of actually creating the vision board. So this is where we've taken, you may be able to discern the 6 different categories. The top left, we've got health. On the top right, we've got spirituality. Middle left, we've got business. Middle right, we've got finances. Bottom left, we've got relationships. And bottom right, we've got recreation. And then all connecting in with growth and contribution. Just as an example. So some tips on building your vision board. You can do them electronically or in hard copy. I personally really like actually finding images electronically that are going to really speak to the different actions or the different focus that I wish to have. And then I like actually printing those out and building the vision board itself in hard copy. I find that that's then, I like the sense of it being more tangible and really working with the different layers in that way. And then I put the hard copy up on my wall, and I also take a photo of it so that I can electronically have it on my phone and also electronically have it on my computer. And then you can make it into things like your screensaver or your background, so you'll regularly have that reminder and that connection with your vision for the year. You can, however, do it all electronically. There are a number of free online collage creators that you can use. Personally, after trying a few of those, I've actually come back to using Word when I do it electronically. You can quite easily add images, layer images, rotate images to create it on Word. I've listed on this page a few of the photo sites that you can utilise to download some fabulous free, copyright-free images. And then just the other little tip, and this once again is connecting back in a little bit with what we would do in the Conscious Creation workshop. So we can add depth to our vision when we ask these couple of questions. We can ask within each of those categories, what would having that, whatever that might be, whether it's a new house, whether it's writing a book, whether it's having X number of clients, whether it's getting a promotion at work, whatever that thing might be, what will it enable you to give? So we're shifting our focus a little bit here from what we want to have to what we want to be able to give or contribute. And that can add a really beautiful layer of depth to our vision that can really help sustain us a lot more through challenges or setbacks that we might face throughout the year as well. And then equally, we can ask ourselves, who do we need to be? So what kind of attributes would I need to focus on developing? So perhaps that's things like commitment, perhaps it's growth, perhaps it's curiosity, perhaps it's playfulness. Whatever those attributes might be that will really support us to move forward into this future vision of ourselves. And as we mentioned at the beginning, it's really important not only that we have that sense of purpose which leads into our vision, also then that our vision leads into clear strategy or clear actions that we can take. So I love this kind of image, the idea of we can sit under the tree and dream of eating apples. We need to actually have a ladder or some semblance of steps that we can take to actually be able to reach the apples. So a few quick strategy tips. This will go into further detail in the workshop as well. What I do with once I've got my purpose, which is connected to my vision, then taking it into 90-day goals. So within the next 90 days, what do I want to achieve? And then I break those 90-day goals further down into weekly top 5. So what are my top 5 actions for the week that are going to move me forward towards these goals? And another really important thing that I've found incredibly powerful in the last year that I've played with that is having some kind of jar or some kind of record of the little celebrations and successes that we have all along the way. They really help us to remain motivated and help us through setbacks. I have done a little video on success spirals as part of the Procrastination Busting Challenge, which is a free online challenge that I'll be launching at the beginning of February. I will try and put a link to that video in the comments under this video for anybody who's interested. And equally, if you would like to join us on the free Procrastination Busting Challenge, once again, just shoot me through a personal message or an email and I'll make sure that you get added to that challenge. So there's my email address on the screen now. As I mentioned, there'll be the Procrastination Busting Challenge at the beginning of February, and then the Conscious Creation Workshop will likely be towards the end of February. So I hope that that's helped connect you a little bit with your vision and really inspired you to dive deep on that for 2019 and make it a year that you're consciously creating and you're connecting with the future you that you want to start becoming.